Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffy Kennedy, also writing as Jennifer K. Lambert, author of epic fantasy romance. I'm here with my first cup of coffee. Delicious. Today is, say it with me, people, it is Friday. Woohoo! March 20th. I think it's the vernal something. Equinox? Not equinox. Something. And if you're on video, you'll see that I have a cat here on the desk with me. He is, I'm not sure why he's being desk cat today, but he's, yes, being part of the podcast under the wind chime. I looked and I'm smarter than I knew. It is the vernal equinox today. I wonder how I knew that. I think that's really kind of funny because it's not on the calendar. I had to Google it. But yes, 10:46 Eastern Daylight Time. So I'm recording this at 10:12 Eastern Daylight Time. So it's going to be a vernal equinox soon. That's kind of exciting, isn't it? I do take comfort in the rotations of the Earth continuing, despite the ape shenanigans of our politicians. The sun rises and sets, and the spring is here. Happy vernal equinox. I've got my Jaguar cup again today, and I'm going to emphasize that it's a Jaguar because someone commented on the YouTube that you do not have jaguars in Arizona and that this is a leopard. And I beg to differ on the comment thread, but yeah, don't correct me on my big cats. There are plenty of things you all can correct me on. I get things wrong all the time, but I do know my leopards and my jaguars. First of all, leopards are not a New World species. They are Africa and Asia, Middle East. Jaguars are Mexico, South America, New World. That's, we talk about New World versus Old World animals. Because I am a biologist by training, and there are very interesting dichotomies, maybe even not dichotomies, because that implies two, but there's interesting branchings of animals between Old and New World, with Australia being its own crazy thing. But for instance, there are huge differences in bats between the Old World and the New World. Anyway, jaguars are South America, and of course that's a colonist phrasing, right? Old World and New World. It means new to the Europeans. But okay, South America, Mexico, and also southwestern United States, traditional jaguar range. And I'm pointing to my jaguar as if that proves anything, which it doesn't. But there are jaguars in Arizona again. They had gone extinct in the US, and there have been sightings now, verified sightings of jaguars in Arizona back in their original native range. So, yes, Virginia, there are jaguars in Arizona, and that is the cat that is on Tucson Festival of Books logos this year, because book people don't get that shit wrong. Word to the wise. All right. Other things to tell you all. I want to rave about a few things. One of them I want to share with you is look what I got. For those of you not on video, this is Jeaniene Frost's new book, A Curse of Beasts and Magic. And how beautiful is this? This is an advanced copy. It's an uncorrected proof. I'm not sure this is even an ARC. It doesn't say, it just says that, yeah, it is an advanced reading copy. I asked, because this is also a Bramble, I shamelessly asked if I could have a copy of this because I have been a Jeaniene Frost fangirl from way back. her first book. Okay, Cat. Sorry, Killian decided to stand in front of the camera for a while there. Her first book in the Night Huntress series, Halfway to the Grave, was one of the 3 books that I put on my brand new very first Kindle. And because she has that cliffhanger ending, she was also the first author for whom I did that instant click to buy book 2. And I have reread a lot of both her Night Huntress series. I enjoyed the Bones POV side of it, and then all of her vampire books, spin-offs of the Night Huntress. And so I am super duper excited to read this because Jeaniene is one of those authors who never misses. This woman cannot write a bad book. There are other authors that can be uneven, and it's like, that wasn't your best. Jeaniene knocks out of the park every single time. So I'm thrilled for this new book. It says Beautiful and Beastly One. So we shall see. A little bit of news for me. I am talking with my agent and editors next week about options. And I submitted, I think I told you all, a pitch for Never the Roses Book 3 and a bunch of other pitches. And editor Ali and assistant editor Diana want to discuss those next week. They have ideas for book 3 of Never the Roses, which I'm very excited that this is what they said they wanted me to consider, because I'm like, yes. And one of the other ideas I pitched, they're super excited about. Excuse me. So we begin the new mystery of what secret project that will be. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it hasn't gone to acquisitions yet. There's no contract or anything. This is just early conversations, but very exciting. And then I also got an interesting opportunity to work with a celebrity, possibly on a romantasy. Very, very early stages there. They're compiling lists of names and they're going to be interviewing people, but agent Sarah texted me saying, did I want to hop on a quick call to talk about this? And I said, sure. Actually, I said, how about 20 minutes so I could finish my word count, because I'm a good writer kitty. I'm trying to be a better writer kitty. And as soon as I called her, I said, is it Katherine Heigl? Tell me it's Katherine Heigl. And she said, I wish it was Katherine Heigl. Katherine, now that we're besties, I feel like this could be a really productive partnership, so call me. So those, and then otherwise I'm just working on book 3 of, or book 3, just don't even know what I'm saying. I'm working on, I call it B3. That's the problem, is it's Blades, Books, and the Bandit. And I've been increasing my word count incrementally again, because I was having a lot of trouble. Like my first hour of writing would be good, and then I would totally tank for the next hour. So and then I, like had Tucson Festival of Books and everything. So now I am starting over and I am building up. I've talked about this a lot, like building up your endurance for producing word count, for concentrating on stuff. I do think that's a big piece of it. So I started with 250 words on Tuesday because Monday was like still travel hangover day. And then, I'm going to sneeze. Our pollen counts are in like the high red bar on pollen.com right now. So much pollen. Okay, so I take it back. I'm increasing by 250, but I started at 500. So on Tuesday, I did 500 words. On Wednesday, I did 750 words, a little bit extra. Each day it's like a little, like maybe 25 over, because I don't slavishly watch the word count. But I do stop once I hit that goal to, even if it's feeling good, even if I still have time, just to try to build up this, it's sort of like the couch to 5K of generating word count. So then, so I did 500, 750. Yesterday I did 1,000. So today I'll do 1,250, and I'll keep doing that until I'm doing 3,000 words a day. And then I should be able to finish this book on time. Crossing fingers, people. I actually have room. I just want to have room to write these other books because, like, option phone calls and so forth, right? So, yeah, I'd like to stay ahead of the game. The other thing I want to rave about, have I raved about this to you all yet? Starfleet Academy. The new Star Trek series just wrapped up season 1. Jeffy just wrapped up season 1 because it took me a while to watch that final episode. It came out last Thursday while I was at Tucson Festival of Books, and I never did watch it. Thought about it. And then it took me a while when I was back this week. Anyway, I love this show. People, I love this show. And I know a lot of people don't. And I've been seeing, so, okay, like I like to look at IMDb, but if I can avoid subscribing or signing up for a thing, then I avoid it. I don't want to be, that's very Gen X of me, isn't it? That's, I don't want to be signed up for all the damn things. So I am very close to signing up for IMDb just so I can go in and rate this show. Because, first of all, I think there's a lot of trolls on IMDb, which is actually the counter argument. It's like, ugh, don't argue with trolls, right? What's the point? But, I love this show. Have I mentioned how much I love this show? This is something I've talked about before, is that the language of praise tends to be weak compared to the language of criticism. With criticism, it's easy to kind of go through and pick out all the things that you dislike. And the language of praise, we end up just doing things like going, I love this show. I know I did talk about this some. Let me talk about what I love about this show. The writing is great. There are wonderful callbacks to earlier series. If you're on video and you could see the reflection of my window, Killian's up there in the window now, looking very leonine. Holly Hunter plays the commander and chancellor of Starfleet Academy, which also has the Athena associated starship. And Holly Hunter is a small person, and they do amazing stuff with the direction and cinematography, showing her being a very tiny person, this very slim woman who is being towered over by other people, and yet her presence is there. And it's like, she's not diminished in any way. She sits sideways in the captain's chair or sits with her legs curled up under her, because if you are a smaller person, that's how you sit in big chairs. I love that Holly Hunter, I'm not going to say she hasn't had work done. I mean, we have the infamous Jeffy's never had Botox story. I don't pretend to be able to tell if somebody has had work done, but she does not look to me like she has had work done, to my untutored eye. I had to look up her age, but she's 68, and I've been seeing a lot of discourse about this, like saying whether or not someone looks young for their age or a woman looks good for her age. And especially all us Gen Xers, back to that, saying things like, oh, she's almost 60, but she looks 50 or 45. I don't even know. But instead claiming our age, like, I'm 59. This is what 59 looks like. I don't look young for my age. I look my age. Um, Holly Hunter is 68, and she is not tightened and de-wrinkled and made upified to look different than she is. Her face is as earnest and lined with experience as, say, a Picard. And it is fabulous. I love seeing this. I love this. She brings so much presence to the show and to this sense of Star Trek as being a kind of back to the ethics of Star Trek. There was a really good article on Reactor that I should link to. In fact, I'll look so that I remember. Article by Emmett Asher Perrin, uh, who, I mean, really well written. Thank you for this one, Emmett, about how Starfleet Academy introduces the concept of the War College, that in the lapse of time between Star Trek Discovery, in which the burn happened, I didn't watch Discovery, but apparently the Federation grew very isolated. And for reasons, we won't delve into all of that. Go read the article, I'll link to it. But Starfleet Academy was closed because there was essentially no Starfleet. Nobody could go anywhere. They lost warp drive. They lost the ability to do faster than light travel. So in the interim, the War College was created. And so it happens early on in the series where there's a tension between the newly christened Starfleet Academy and the War College. And this is a really great essay because it talks about the fact that now we've divided things up. Because even though from the very beginning, Star Trek was supposed to be about peaceful exploration, right? The whole non-interference, we're not actually, we're just out here to, find strange new worlds and seek out new life and new civilizations and not actually blow people up, that Starfleet is still a militaristic organization, and it's difficult to get away from that. And what I really love about Starfleet Academy, especially with someone like Holly Hunter playing Nola Ake, who considers herself a teacher, and she's over 400 years old, and she is obviously a pacifist, and her concern truly is with this ethical approach to the world. Now, I think one of the enduring problems of especially a visual medium is that having a show that's entirely about peaceful things doesn't make for good graphics, right? We want space battles, we want space lasers, we want photon torpedoes, and we want people being thrown across the bridge and shields weakening and all of these kinds of things because it's exciting. But it doesn't have a whole lot to do with actually being peaceful. And now I'm feeling this great urge to write something about a series that's actually about people choosing nonviolence, a true, like, Quaker approach where you do not resort to violence if you can help it. Apparently, Deep Space Nine wrestled with this in later seasons, and I know I only watched like a season or two of that, and I want to go back to that. Anyway, but Starfleet Academy actually wrestles with these ideas in a way that makes them plot crucial. I like the young people in it wrestling with what does it mean to be a Starfleet officer, to be sort of reincarnating this world, and what will the new Starfleet look like. I love Tig Notaro as a teacher in these, especially final episode, Tig Notaro doing this, they're like trying to survive the battle, and it's like, okay, well, this is a hella final exam, but if you fail, we die. Tig Notaro is perfect casting for this because she has, I'm hesitating because I'm not sure if Tig Notaro is a they, but we'll go with, we'll just say they, because they have that wonderful flat demeanor where that's unflappable, right? I love the relationship between Tig Notaro's character, and Laura, who is half Klingon, half Jemadar. And I love, I think all of the casting is really great. And I like what they are doing with calling up all of these races that are have been touched upon in the many years. Uh, it has been a fully satisfying show for me, and I want everybody to go watch it. There's definitely going to be a season 2. I hope that it continues to be great, and yeah, it's just go watch it. Okay, so on that note, I've already hit my 20 minutes, and I'm going to keep working on this word count. So I hope you all have a terrific Friday. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I didn't even talk about any of the scandals in the bookish world at the moment. Maybe we'll talk about them Tuesday. You all take care. Bye bye.